Queer time is the idea that many LGBT people exist outside of the heteronormative standard of time. For us, lives are not linear. Maybe we missed out on the high school romance, so we find it at 40, after being married to a man. And that first kiss feels like magic. Or maybe we didn't find ourselves until we wore a suit for the first time, and life started then, at 22. We have been told that time travel is impossible, but here we are.
I don't care how much me and my husband argue. He's mine until I kill him. And then he's Jesus' problem after that.
Every once in a while, I act a little more gay in public just to mess with someone. For example, I was just shopping. There were 2 Mormon missionaries walking behind me, so I threw just a little bit more ass into every single step. And that's how I do the Lord's work.
It's Friday night, so my mucky people, time for part 6 of bottom tips. 1. Salami rings. I'm calling it that because I don't want to get banned. If you are going to use these, shave first. The main reason for this is, if you don't shave, it'll just rip the boogers right out. Nasty little things get tangled right up in there. 2. Freaky requests. If you've got any freaky requests, mention them beforehand and not as you're there, because it's a lot to put on someone. Some people just don't want a shower of the golden variety. Sorry. 3. Make peace with poop. Pole stains are gonna happen. You can be the cleanest bottom in the world. They're gonna happen at some point, so just get used to it. And if the top gets all offended, just say, I made this for you. And 4. When dining out in the backdoor cafe, eat. Don't swipe your tongue. Eat. Eat that donut like it's the last thing you're ever gonna eat again. Just devour that. You hungry and I'm feeding. Like and share for a part 7.
Okay, so I don't have a lot of time to explain, but I saw this TikTok and I've come up with a movie in my head and I only have 60 seconds to explain it. So please listen. Okay, so it starts with these 2 boys. One boy moves from a different town into this town with this other boy, and they start going to school together and they become best friends. Well, they meet at a park when they're 10 years old and they start living their life, and then they grow up being best friends. They go to college, then they come back to the small town and they fall in love, they get married, they have kids, they feel the most amazing love in their fucking life that they've ever felt, only for time to be reset back to when they were 10 years old, the day that they met at that park. They never met, and then they start living their own life, having everything not to do with each other, never seeing each other again, only to come back later in life, years, like 15 years down in advance, to meet at the same park, and they get this weird deja vu feeling, and then they walk to the same spot from when they met in that past life from when they were a kid, and then they both reach out their hand to touch, and then the whole memory from that past life floods them. They start crying, and they say, I love you, and hug. Movie.
Safest places for LGBT plus travelers, part 2. French Polynesia. Though homosexuality was illegal at some point, it was legalized way back in the 1800s, and they currently have pretty much every law that protects LGBT plus folks. On top of that, same-sex relations, transgenderism, non-binaryism were all very normal in their traditional culture. Uruguay, which has been rated as the most gay-friendly country in Latin America. Punta del Este and Montevideo should be added to your September travel list because that's when they celebrate Diversity Month. The Netherlands, which should come as no surprise seeing as they were the first country to legalize same-sex marriage. And apparently the Amsterdam Pride is something every gay needs to experience at least once. Now, whether you consider this a country or not is up to you, but Taiwan is probably one of the best places for LGBT plus travelers in Asia. They never had to make homosexuality legal because it was never illegal. The Taipei Pride apparently is wild. They had over 200,000 participants in 2019. Where will you be traveling to, and what other countries would you like to see on this list?
Sir, if I was straight, I wouldn't tell anyone either. I'd be mortified. Straight. In 2020. In this political no. No, I can't even imagine. The hardships you guys have to face. Unbelievable, truly. So I take it you hate the nail color too? I don't know, I liked it.
Hello, LGBTQ community.
So I went and got a colonoscopy the other day, because I just want to make sure my gut health is A-okay. And, I was joking around with the doctor, and I was like, hey, all right, when you're in there, be careful, because nothing's ever been in there before. And this bitch clapped back and was like, I'm sure you say that a lot.
Having to come out of the closet is such a stupid thing to have to do. Straight people will never get how humiliating it is to have to go to your parents and be like, I prefer penises over vaginas. I'm not really sure why this affects you. But if you could let me know if I'm kicked out of the house so I could find somewhere else to live. Okay, thanks. Beep. It was voicemail.
Why do so many gay men get defensive when someone says that they're a bottom? But I never hear gay men getting defensive when someone says that they're a top. The reason why is because being a top is considered the masculine role, and being a bottom is considered the feminine role. And it's essentially implying that being feminine is worse than being masculine, even though being a top or bottom doesn't determine whether you're masculine or feminine. Gay men really need to stop reinforcing these toxic gender roles.
Offensive gay jokes that are actually pretty funny. What do gay men call hemorrhoids? I don't know. What? Speed bumps. Hey, how do you fit 4 gay guys on one bar stool? How? Turn it upside down. Did you know only 75% of gay men were born that way? Oh, well, what happened to the other 25%? They were sucked into it.
All right, everyone. Welcome to Homophobics Anonymous. Just to make sure you're in the right room, if you're looking for Transphobic Anonymous, that is just a couple doors down. All right? So, who would like to start? Tell me about your week. Well. So last week, I found out one of my coworkers was gay, and I didn't tell them they were gonna burn in hell. So that was big.
Good. Good for
Thank you.
Good for you. Great progress.
Well, for me, I had another dude compliment me on my shirt, and I just said thank you. That was it.
And how did it feel not assuming they were hitting on you?
It felt okay. Different, but okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so it sounds like minding your business and respecting other people's sexualities has gone well for some of you guys this week. This is good. Great progress.
The number one question I get on this app is, why are you dating an older man? And I'd like to answer that question with a question of my own, which is, why shouldn't I? Have you met gay guys my age? I mean, no offense to them, but most of them haven't fully matured. They sleep around, they're too worried about their looks, and to be honest, I don't see a lot of them in long-term committed relationships. We also live in a society where 50% of all marriages end in divorce, so I'm not really sorry that I don't fit that society's standard of what a relationship should be. I think if you spend too much time focused on someone's stats instead of what's making you happy, you're never gonna be happy, and your relationship certainly isn't gonna last. I found someone that makes me happy, and I'm not sorry for that, and I'm not gonna apologize to you guys for that, so live with it.
Yeah, I have some questions for the gays. Is Jesus not gay enough for you? He's always in sandals, he's constantly wearing robes, he has terrible daddy issues, he has a tenuous relationship with Christianity, and he's always hanging out with 12 twinks. Your move, sinners. Wait.
Nothing to see here. Just a straight man. Putting oil in his car. Doing what straight people do. Fixing cars.
One thing which really weirds me out about the gay community is how everyone knows each other. So before I got together with my fiance, I had a one-night stand with a guy. Let's call him Ginger LaRue. Now, Ginger LaRue had a flatmate. Let's call him Artsy. Now, Artsy ended up working with my fiance when we had gotten together. And we found out that my fiance and Artsy had one thing in common. They had both dated the same person. Let's call him Model. So the flatmate of the guy who I got with had gone out with the same person which my fiance had gone out with. Like, you can't write this shit. It's just bizarre.
I went in for an MRI, and the lady that was doing it says it's very important that you don't move because it'll mess up the image. That means no clearing your throat, humming, anything like that. And I was like, okay. And she goes, do you want to listen to music while I do it? And I was like, yeah, sure, that'd be good. And so she plays the music, and as she starts the MRI, Rain on Me starts playing. Like, bitch, are you trying to test a gay boy right now? And I'm just gonna say it right now. I failed that test and she had to redo it.
I'm a boy who likes boys. Well, I hate you. Why? 'Cause that's a sin. Why? Because it's wrong. Why? Because it's just not right. Why? Because I want to do it too, but I'm not allowed.
Thanks. So you wrote them down here. Okay. Oh my god, okay. Not gonna jump to any conclusions, but Pete, this is just so these are suggestions that the fans gave on Twitter. Okay. Layla, immediate no. Immediate no. Are we on the same show? Okay. Sugar, who's Sugar? Sugar cane. Sugar cane? What's his 11? Oh yes, I knew that. I love her. But did we see? We saw the reveal. Come on. Nina. Which Nina? Nina Brown. Black China, you mean? Huh? Oh, she was in Black China. Oh. Brooklyn Heights. She won. Brooklyn won. What are you talking about? She didn't. Oh, yeah. Evie won.
Well, thanks for sharing. I will see you and an anonymous Grindr profile in 2 to 3 years. Enjoy the wife and kids.
So one time I was making out with this guy at a bar, and he...
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm just telling that story of how I made out with that one guy and then the other guy, and they ended up being brothers. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, that was with Jason, right? Yeah, didn't that end really badly for you?
Yeah, but I was just gonna mention, like, the funny part of it all.
Yeah, he's the one who made it clear he didn't want a relationship, but you still pursued him anyway, right?
I mean, sure, but I wasn't gonna mention that part.
Hey, Wes?
Yeah.
Do you remember when Sean cried at the foot of our bed for weeks over Jason?
I don't remember that happening, so...
Didn't this happen 2 years ago? Why are you still talking about this?
Are you still talking to him? Sean? Sean?
Fuck,
shit.
Kids were not doing drag queen stuff a long time ago. You didn't have 7-year-old boys walking streets trying to act like they were drag queens. That stuff is lame, is dead. It is not a thing. It wasn't a thing a long time ago. It's now a thing because all these famous people and everything are putting it inside these little kids.
Listen, I'm sure you've seen this video 100 times on your For You page if your For You page is like mine. So I'm not going to go on and on about all the misinformation this kid is spreading. But I do want to say that oftentimes people try to push the idea that being LGBTQ is like a trend. Because now more than ever, our community is becoming more and more visible. But it's important to acknowledge that this is not a trend, that queer people have existed as long as people have existed. And in addition to the fact that there are recordings of queer people just existing in ancient societies, it should also be said that drag dates back to the 1880s, to somebody named William Dorsey Swan, oftentimes known as the first drag queen who threw drag balls in the 1880s, 1800s. So no, it's not new.
You're Out LGBT edition. Duet this and let's see how long it takes you to get out. You're out if you have an eyebrow slit. You're out if you've ever been to Pride. You're out if you drive a Jeep, a Subaru, or a truck. You're out if you make thirst traps. You're out if you've purposely dressed a certain way in case you see another gay person in public. You're out if you roll your sleeves or if you roll your jeans. You're out if you play rugby, soccer, softball, or basketball. You're out if you ever searched "Am I gay?" quizzes as a child. You're out if you've ever seen an LGBT couple in public and stared at them hoping they'd realize you're gay too. You're out if you follow AG, and you're out if you said "I love you" within the first week of meeting someone.
Monster trucks, sex, girls and shit, guns, camouflage, sports.